everyone, it's Nicole with CellBotics, and in this video, I'm diving into the legal side of running a business with these 10 points. No fluff, just practical insights. Let's jump right in. First off, if you want to skip any of these because maybe you already know about them or they don't apply, because I'm trying to make this content, really for anybody that's opening a business. Some of it is specifically repair related. You can skip past any parts using the timestamp option below. Now, number one, I want you to skip this if you do not plan on or own a repair business. It is specifically for people who own a repair business. So, number one, what happens if you damage someone's device? This is the biggest thing that is on people's mind when they're looking to open a repair business. It'd be very scary. So, let's picture this. You're working on a customer's device and you accidentally damage it. You unintentionally damage something in addition to what they came in for. It's really important that you understand the potential legal consequences. Have people been sued before? Absolutely. Is it regular that that happens? No way. Okay. The most important thing is to take care of your customer. Now, protecting yourself really starts with the intake, the forms you use. But if you kind of live by the golden rule, which this is what I live by, I'll always ensure my customer's satisfaction to my best capabilities. It's really not that big of a deal if you keep that saying in your mind. Think of this. The most expensive devices on the market is probably what you're thinking about replacing. Those don't come into independent repair stores or mobile techs that much. Now, you're considered independent if you don't own something like a franchise, like a CPR or a UBEF. Okay, so you're considered an independent repair shop. And people with newer devices will usually have some sort of coverage or, but you'll rarely see them. They're not dropping them right out of the gate. They may buy a case for those very brand new devices, right? What we're seeing is devices that have been in the market for around 2 years. They're no longer can be covered by some sort of OEM coverage or something like that. The people that are using them now are probably not the same people who originally bought them, because normally we see trends with people that get the newest devices, they upgrade every time new upgrades come out. So then those devices that they turn in are going to somewhere. They're either getting turned in, or those people are reselling them. So we're servicing the people that are using devices that have been used or they've been using for quite some time. And so the value of the device has gone down significantly in some cases. So if you damage the customer's device, all you need to do is fix it. Fix what you broke, okay? Worst case scenario, you'd have to buy them a device. You break it so bad it can't be repaired. That's really rare, guys. I mean, you're really, 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 really overthinking it if you think that you're going to damage something regularly beyond repair. You can use something like a micro solderer to get it fixed. You can buy another part, right? But let's say it's not worst case scenario. It's something small. You just need to get the part in. Well, you can do something like give them a loaner device. Just give them a device to use. If it's a day for the part to come in or a week, you have to send the device off to a micro solderer. Give them a device to use. The biggest issue and question that people run into here, though, is, do I tell the customer I broke it? Okay. You really have to decide this on your own. There's not one required way. Okay. I never condone lying, but if you're going to fix it either way, do you really want them screaming at you or telling the whole city you broke it? Or will they value your honesty more? Here are a few examples of what you could say. So for example, you damaged the customer's device and now you have to order a part and it's going to come overnight or it's going to take a couple of days. So here's something you might say. We will be providing you a loaner phone for a day. Your device is slightly more delicate due to its design and an additional part is needed, which will be completely covered by us. So here I've let the customer know that, hey, your device design is unique. You used words like delicate. I didn't want to come out the gate and be like, hey, we broke your device and we're going to fix it. But here's a device to use. I want to really sugarcoat this. You don't want to upset someone because sometimes these are just really small incidences that would not hurt the device long term, but people don't understand that, right? It could be something so small and they make it so big because it's something that they're not familiar with. Here's another thing that you could say. An additional part is needed for the repair that we did not initially realize we would need. For this mistake, we will cover it 100% and provide you a loaner device to use. We have ordered the new part overnight, so it'll only delay your repair by 1 day, but we want to make sure that you have a device to use. We understand it is our job to give you accurate timeframes and costs, and because of that, we want to make it right, and we will not be charging you for this extra part. Now, of course, you didn't just come out and say you broke it, and you kind of did put it back on the device, but you did take responsibility for it, right, in the end. What if the device needs micro-soldering? This is where you run into an issue. You might not price something properly, and then all of a sudden you've got a connector broken, and now it needs to go to a micro-solderer. It might take a week or two. Ooh, that's a long time, right? So here's something that you could potentially say. We need our specialist technicians to work on your device. After opening it, we realize it needs more extensive work. This will take up to potentially 2 weeks. No worries. No worries. We will be providing you a loaner device to use, and we are going to fully help you set it up so then it's just like your device. Of course, none of this will be at an additional cost to you, as we should have realized that prior to giving you the price and timeline. So again, you can see that I try to start with something positive, and I always ensure that it make it sound like we will make sure the customer is okay, because we will. And then we also want to make sure that they know that we are taking some sort of responsibility. Now, what if the customer says, oh, BS, you guys broke my device? You may get yourself into those situations. You want to try to defuse the customer and make them feel comfortable. And you say, well, yeah, something did happen during the repair. Or you can just continue with trying to explain to them that this was something that came up that was not something that you knew that you would need. In conclusion, you will eventually break something. Everybody does. It won't happen all the time. And you are not a terrible technician if it happens. It's how you handle it after. That's what matters the most. Number 2, setting up a true entity versus accepting money as yourself. Now let's shift gears to a fundamental decision every business owner faces: setting up a true entity, business type, or accepting money as yourself. Before I start, I want to clarify, I will never suggest you try to avoid the IRS by taking cash under the table. I have owned a bookkeeping business for over 15 years and have dealt with countless audits by the IRS, and it can devastate your life if you do not take it seriously. I also will not tell you to take write-offs that are not actually business write-offs. It's a slippery slope out there. Be careful who you listen to on this topic. YouTube is full of people who want to avoid the IRS, and I totally understand. Do you think I like paying a tax bill every year, right? But they think they are invincible sometimes when I hear certain things, like taking a car on write-off, but you don't use a car for your business, right? You've got to pay attention to the laws, right? Taking fuel as a write-off, things like that. You of course, you can take fuel as a write-off, but you need to understand that there's also miles that you can take as a write-off. So documenting everything properly, right? If you're going to listen to people online that want to shortcut the IRS, just make sure you do your research, because when you get audited, they're not going to help you. It's really simple. Collect money, take your true write-offs, pay your taxes. That's it. It's really that simple. So let's get back to it. Yes, you can accept money as yourself, which is normally referred to as a sole proprietorship. Now, disclaimer, I am not a tax expert. However, you can get an LLC or even another entity type. Either way, you need to make an educated decision on this. Call a tax expert. By the way, I'm not one. Again, bookkeeping is something different than tax filing. So in my line of business, for my bookkeeping business, we can assist CPAs and assist companies in preparing for taxes, but we don't file taxes or handle taxes. We help with the record keeping all year round. So reach out to a local tax filing office or a business attorney and have just one session. It won't cost too much. Just say, I need to ask a couple of questions. I'm starting a business. Can I have an hour of an attorney's time? And you wouldn't even need to do it in person if you can do it over the phone. Or there are websites that you can do, ask these types of things, like Just Ask and stuff like that, right? Here are some questions that you will want to ask. What is the best entity for my current situation? So explain your business idea. And then ask them, what is the best entity type? How would I pay myself with this entity type? Yes, there are certain ways you have to pay yourself. What type of bank accounts do I need? And how should I have money flow from business to me? Like, how should it go to the accounts? When I take a payment from a customer, where does it go? Then how do I pay myself? How much of that do I take? How much can I pay myself or should pay myself? Depending on your entity types, there will be different regulations about what you must pay yourself. What are legitimate write-offs and best way to track them? Now, I will say for tracking them, QuickBooks is amazing. And if you guys want more content about QuickBooks, comment below QuickBooks and I'll make content. I haven't really seen any interest in it, so I haven't made any videos about it, but I am getting more into like budgeting and planning to open your business and record keeping. So you may see more content around that topic from me soon. What do I need to record keep, which again would be software or something to actually help you keep your record. But what are the physical items you need to keep? Now, some people will tell you you don't need to keep receipts, paper receipts. I will say different, and it's okay if you don't agree with me. You don't need to, destroy me in the comments. I'm only speaking from experience with doing IRS audits. You have to remember that I'm hired to go help people communicate with the IRS agent. Because sometimes there's a lot of anger and fear, and owners need someone just to be there with them to kind of help them through the process. Not that I'm a tax expert. I'm good at communication and record keeping, okay? And one thing I know 100% of, the IRS likes paper record. They like paper receipts. So even though you have a bank statement, they do like paper receipts. You can scan them in with something like an app, or there's the receipt scanners you can buy. Me personally, I scan them, keep them in QuickBooks, and I also keep the paper records. What's it going to hurt, right? Just store them in a box every year and by month, and if I need them, I can pull them out. It's not a big deal. I also write on my receipts, so I'll make a video about that. These are just a few questions I'd ask, and these short meetings won't cost much, and it's extremely worth it so you're properly educated. You can even find YouTubers who specialize in business tax who do calls for like $50 to $200 an hour. And that's enough time to ask everything you need to know. So remember, this is an initial investment in your business, so then you're well educated. Now, I know that I may not be a tax expert, but I know you and I may not be a tax expert, but we sure do know how to hit that subscribe button. So take a minute and hit subscribe and thumbs up to help my channel, please. I'm working really, really hard to make sure I'm putting out valuable content, and I really need the subscribers and the likes. So, number 3, do you need to collect sales tax? This is something that I feel like a lot of new business owners fail at miserably. It's not understanding when and how and what to file and report it, and they don't think about sales tax unless they have a physical location. But sometimes mobile businesses need to also. So it's really up to you to go out and find out what it is. But I want to just educate you that you need to think about that. The easiest way to do this is to look up your local tax collector's office. Walk in, explain your business model, and ask if you need to collect sales tax. Here are some things that you can ask about. Do I collect sales tax with this business model? Do I collect labor and parts sales tax on labor and parts? Or sales tax just on parts, or sales tax just on labor? Do I break it out into 2 receipts? Do I give them a receipt just for parts and tax them sales tax on that? Or do I make a receipt? You need to ask because it can vary, okay? Not every single city is the same across the whole country. You've got to find out what it is in your city, okay? And don't feel overwhelmed, guys. This is a normal process of opening a business. You're really ahead of the curve by watching this video. You're really learning things that take some people a long time to learn. So you want to make sure that you know how the receipts can be broken out, or does your city, state not allow that, right? Do they want you to put parts and labor on the same receipt and tax the whole total, right? But you need to know what you're allowed to do and do it the way they require you to do it. Don't try to shortcut the law. How to record this in case they need proof later. Just flat out ask them, what is the best way to record this in case you want proof from me later about the taxes I've taken? How do I document this on a receipt to the customer? What if I'm doing a handwritten receipt? How do I write this out? Do I need a percentage of the tax rate? How do I know what the tax rate is, right? All of this can be asked to the person that you're dealing with there. It could be a window, or they may have somebody that you sit down and talk with. How and when do I file and pay the sales tax? So I will tell you this one major thing. Make a savings or checking account, doesn't matter, whatever you want. Each time you collect sales tax, save them. Do not use sales tax. It tallies up quick. I'd also save 10% of every money's received for IRS tax payments at the end of the year. The saddest thing is to see someone receive a sales tax bill and not have any money in savings and be like, where does that money go? Well, you used it. If you collect $1 for sales tax, you need to put it in your savings account. All right, I'm serious, guys. It seems silly, but if you're on an annual filing, that means a whole year of sales tax you'll be responsible for paying. So save them. Number 4, set up your EIN. This is really once you decide what business type and if you need an EIN. Yes, it's true. It is free to get an EIN. There are services out there that you can pay for an EIN, right? But because there are certain forms and things that you need to file, certain things you need to know, right? Depending on the business type, okay? I will link below a video that I made on how to get an EIN for free. Please educate yourself before you go and do that. Make sure to do your research about your business type and how to record and track income and expenses and how to file yourself and what to file. Really, it's take you a day to find this information. This is not weeks of things. Do not feel overwhelmed. But sit down, heck, use AI. But type in the questions, make sure that you know what you need to do, okay? Also, please know this. Once you start an EIN, you have a business. You have told the government that you have a business, but you still have to get set up in your state and city. So I'll talk about that in a minute, right? But until you officially close this business with the proper form to the government, which I have done before, you need to file taxes on this entity. It is an entity of its own, okay? And they do require reporting. And you can read all of this on the IRS website. Again, I'll link that below just to make it more helpful for you guys to find the exact page that talks about different entity types and, everything that you need to know. All right, number 5, get incorporated in your state. So when or if you get an EIN, you still need to register with your state and city. And if you're mobile, you may need to also, again, you need to speak to your business offices, right? To find out if you need to get some sort of license or certificate with the city or state or county. Simply reach out to your state's small business website and start there. You can also go to SBA or score.org. They are extremely helpful with this. And really anything you need information on pertaining to this, they can help you with. Number 6, having proper forms for customers to sign. This is near and dear to my heart, okay? Protecting your business starts with solid documents. I cannot stress this enough, okay? If you have a repair business, check out our Intake Pro app on the Google Play Store. Listen, it is $5.99 a month, $5.99 a month, unlimited forms. It's amazing. I used it for years for myself. And then someone was like, why don't you sell that? I'm like, what? They made it stupid cheap, unlimited forms. It's amazing. Check it out. It's definitely worth it. And I know you Apple users are like, I don't have an Android. You know what? I use iPhone too, but I went to Walmart and bought an $89 tablet. It's big. It's a Samsung. And I used that for my form. It's an easy fix, guys. Okay. It's not that big of a hurdle to go out and get an Android device, okay? But this is what I do with my forms, okay? So any forms that we have at CellBotics, what I do, well, I've already done this, but if we got new forms, this is what I would do, right? So in the beginning, when we started to get a lot of forms, I was like, oh man, I really need an attorney to look at this, but I don't want to pay an attorney to review it, because they can be expensive. But LegalZoom really has some great options. So they have this thing called 6-month document review service. I'll link it below. Okay, so you can run any documents by an attorney for one flat fee for 6 months. It's like $200 something. Don't come for me if the price is higher or lower because I didn't check it before the video. But I pay for 6 months at a time when I did it. And I did this like 2 years ago because we had some new forms that I had made. But this has been a lifesaver for me because I can upload the forms, an attorney reviews them, has a call with me, tells me what to add and change. So then this way, I know the forms and wording would hold up and apply to my state. in my specific situation. And hey, if you got this far, hit the like button and subscribe. I was doing something right if you got to number 6. Some of y'all, I just don't get it. Like, show me some love. I'm trying here. I'm pouring my soul into this content. Okay. Number 7, intellectual property protection and business insurance. Once you get your business ideal going, you need to ensure you pick a name and logo that is not being used by others. Especially do not use any name that includes OEM names like Apple, iPhone, Samsung, words like that. Do not use those in your business name, okay? If you're not doing a repair business and you're doing some other business like fixing, I don't know, washers and dryers, don't use the names of those big companies in your business name. That can cause you issues in the future, okay? Create a name. Come up with an acronym. Make it fun. Don't name the business after yourself. I think I literally made a whole video about this. I probably should make a whole video about making a business name because I just love making business names. So I think I need to make a video about it. All right, do a trademark search on business names. I'll link the site below, but you can actually go search business names and make sure there's no trademark, okay? Now, there is some things about trademarks that people don't understand, like it can be for a specific industry, but you can still use the name in another industry, right? So do your research on that. And then eventually you can file your own trademark. Yeah, you can file your own trademark. I did mine. CellBotics has a trademark. I did it on LegalZoom. Cost about $500. I got with an attorney. It was super freaking easy. They helped me with everything, but I didn't immediately do that. I didn't do it for the first 2 or 3 years. So I did take some time because I wanted to make sure that I was going to stick with this business model. I was like, is training really going to be what I want to do? And, here we are, like, I don't know, 12 years later, definitely what I love doing, right? So I'm glad I got my trademark. For business insurance, here is my top secret. Don't tell anyone. Highly recommend Hiscox, okay? Now, this is not sponsored, but I will tell you what, they're very helpful. They offer a wide range of coverage and are priced really, really well for those of you like me who like to budget and save as much money as I possibly can, but still have good quality stuff. Hiscox has been amazing, and I will link them below, okay? Having a retail location, you definitely need business insurance. If you have any type of physical location or a vehicle that you're using for business, you need this. But you can talk with them about your specific business type and model and see what the different benefits of insurance are, especially if you're mobile. Number 8, employment law basics. As your business grows, understanding employment law becomes non-negotiable. If you are hiring people to work for you, there are some key things that you need to know. When hiring an actual employee that you will pay and take taxes out, you need to get a payroll company involved, okay? There's things like Gusto. But I'm going to tell you what, local payroll companies can be so invaluable and really cheap, actually. We use a local payroll company. I was using an online payroll company and I had issues with the filings, and also had an employee that lived in another state and traveled in because we're so close to the state line. And it was a huge headache and they couldn't get the filing right. And you could get audited for something like that. So red flag, okay? So I went to a local payroll company and I will never again use online payroll processing. It's just me. Not everybody has the same experience or same needs. But yeah, so there's online payroll companies, but then you can actually just look for local payroll companies. You can actually walk in and talk to somebody, which I really like. You pay someone as needed. Okay. Now I've done this a lot. Okay. It's called 1099 because you're not taking taxes from them. You're paying them money to do something and you're giving them a 1099 at the end of the year. If you paid them over a certain amount, which I think right now it's like $600. Okay. Don't quote me. Look it up yourself. Okay. Then you need to make sure you look at the laws and what makes people actually considered a 1099 employee, or they're not really an employee, they're like a contractor. For example, they control their own time, they come with experience, and they are not paid hourly. So you need to come up with a one set fee, right? Remember, they control their own time, so you can't tell them, you have to clock in this time and clock out that time. You can say, hey, I like you to work between these hours if you can. So 1099 is very tricky, but you want to be very, very careful that you stick with the law requirements. So read about it, okay? Read about it, look it up. I'll link something below about that as well. I'm going to have a lot of links below, so make sure you check that stuff out. Okay, Number 9, cybersecurity and data privacy. Let's talk digital defense. In today's age, protecting customer data is a must. You do not want to get yourself in a pickle messing around with people's stuff, okay? Here it is. Here's the golden rule, the big secret that you need to know. Do not look through their devices if it's not required to fix the device. I know. Crazy. And if you find something criminal, this is tricky. I know a lot of you are probably like, I will report anything criminal. Okay, I understand. But I know there are a lot of you that are like, I'm not getting involved in anybody else's business. I get that too. Okay. I did some research and I could not find a law that says you must report it. But in some cases, how could you not? Okay. So there is a lot of chatter online about this topic when it comes to electronics repair. If you're in someone's device and you find some sort of photo crimes, which I can't talk about on this platform, right? Which most of us know is kind of like an epidemic, right? And you see some photos that are criminal, what should you do? Okay. Are you required to report? I couldn't personally find anything, but I did find some statements where, yes, you actually could be like accessory if you hide things. So that's actually pretty scary, right? So, I cannot personally tell you the law, okay? But I will tell you this. I would not be able to personally live with myself if I did not report something that was, sick. You know what I mean? So I don't look through people's stuff, but if I happen upon something just because I'm fixing the device and I'm in there, right? I avoid it like the plague, okay? But if I happen to find something and it is criminal, well, I'm going to report it, okay? Do you have to report it? That's your personal choice, okay? Do your research, look and see if it's a required law. Even, I guess, call that, right? The police and ask, right? I'm a local repair technician. I'm starting my business and I just wondering, I haven't found anything on anybody's device yet, but I'm just wondering, what if I come across something like that, right? And then better yet, instead of checking with the police, I would do that too. Check with the police, right? Because I'm not a lawyer or a cop or anything like that. Check in with your ethics, okay? What about your community? What about the victim? Okay? Check in. Okay. All right. 10. So the final point, okay? Handling customer disputes. Okay. So last but not least, we're going to tackle the inevitable. Customer disputes. You must always stay calm. I cannot stress this enough. Okay, now my partner, he owns a business also, and if he gets upset, okay, all right, just saying, even with a customer, like, dude, you've got to stay calm, okay? So staying calm is very important, okay? Do not raise your voice. I know that when we get upset as humans, we raise our voice, right? Sometimes it just happens. You're not trying to be rude, but you're trying to get your point across and you're getting louder and louder and it comes into your chest and you feel it like you're expanding. And what I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people take risen voices as aggression and then they come back at you, okay? Don't raise your voice. Stay calm. You can be firm and put your foot down, but you do not need to yell at someone. You need to always take the high road and try to do everything you can do to resolve the issue. Try to calm everyone. You stay calm. You calm everybody down. You are the one that is fixing things, okay? You do not need to make the situation worse or say something you don't mean that you'll regret later. Keep in mind, okay, when you're dealing with someone that's upset, this is what I do. So then I don't take it personal and want to go off on them and tell you about yourself, right? I remember that people are dealing with a lot right now, okay? People are even mentally unstable right now, okay? Sometimes you're dealing with someone that just lost someone, an hour ago and they're standing in your store. You're dealing with someone who has a family member that's going through a sickness and they can't pay their bills. You're dealing with someone that is in debt or has mentally ill children and they're totally stressed out, right? So keep that in mind. They could be dealing with something else and yeah, they're kind of unloading on you and that's not right either. We can't make the world right by fighting each other, okay? We can't. We have to learn how to talk and realize that we need to try to help people calm down when they're upset, okay? Also, your ego. Stop feeding your ego, okay? To make you feel bigger and better, you're the owner, you're this, right? Stop it, okay? Customer, you need every customer you can get, okay? Now, you're not starving and you have to take people's crap. I get it. But, you need the customer and you want them to like your business, okay? So it's best to always be the bigger person. Keep clear records that, and make sure that you have everything documented with the situation that's happened, okay? If you have a location, place a camera in front to record any encounters. This is a great way to have a record, okay? And yes, protect yourself, but in the end, always try to make sure you have a happy customer. It's so easy for someone to ruin a business online when all you need to do is calm them down and fix the problem. So then they don't go online and destroy you, okay? Because they can, okay? So in conclusion, if you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more valuable content. And do not forget to put the bell notification. Thank you for supporting my channel. I really appreciate you guys. And I'll see you in the next video.